Hello students. So today we will start our next topic, which is Langevin theory of diamagnetism. So in this theory we will explain the reason of diamagnetism. So for this, consider an electron of an atom of diamagnetic material revolves around the nucleus in a circular orbit of radius r with velocity v in anticlockwise direction. As you see in this diagram, means we have considered an electron which is revolving around the nucleus in anticlockwise direction with velocity v in an orbit of radius r. This we have considered. Okay, and we have applied a magnetic field B of increasing magnitude perpendicular to the plane of paper directed outwards. Okay, so because magnetic field is changing magnetic field we have applied, then the magnetic flux passing through this electron loop will be this, which is phi is equal to b dot s, okay, or it is bs cos of theta. Okay, as theta is 0 degree, that means because for the current loop which we have considered, the normal vector is also in outward direction and b is also in outward direction, so theta is 0. B and outward normal of the surface is in same direction. Okay, theta is 0, so this will become only bs, okay, where s is the area of the circular loop. Okay, and this area will be pi r square, and that's why this phi magnetic flux associated with this current loop will be b into pi r square. Okay, due to the changing magnetic flux in the loop and induced EMF, E is generated in the loop, which has the direction in such a way that it opposes the increasing magnetic flux. This is in accordance with the Faraday's law. Okay, so the induced EMF E will be this minus d phi by dt, where phi is b into pi r square. So substitute that phi in this equation, then this EMF will be minus pi r square dB by dt. Okay, the direction of induced EMF in loop is clockwise. Okay, it is negative of b. Okay, so it is in clockwise direction. Okay, the instantaneous electric field exists anti-parallel to the motion of electron. Okay, because there is an induced EMF due to that changing magnetic field, so therefore there will be an electric field due to that EMF. Okay, and that electric field will be how much? It is given by EMF by the path. Okay, or in general how we define the electric field, it is voltage per unit length. Okay, V by L. So EMF, induced EMF is nothing but the voltage. Okay, and instead of L now we have 2 pi r, which is the circumference of the loop in which electron revolves around the nucleus. Okay, so as we know, what is this E? E is minus pi r square dB by dt and over 2 pi r. So when we solve this, so ultimately we'll get this result. Electric field E will be equal to minus r by 2 dB by dt. Okay, so due to this electric field, and this electric field has come due to the changing magnetic field as per Faraday's law. Okay, because what Faraday's law says means changing magnetic field will produce electric field and vice versa. Means if we changes the electric field, changing electric field is there, then there will be magnetic field as well. Okay, so due to this electric field, now the electron experiences a force which is this, F is equal to minus E into capital E as per the Lorentz electric force, and in its direction of motion, thus the electron gets accelerated. Okay, so due to this force which is acting on the electron due to the electric field which comes as per Faraday's law, okay, the electron will feel a force and electron will get accelerated. Okay, and this acceleration will be given by A is equal to dV by dt, which is force per unit mass. Okay, where force is minus E into capital E by m. Okay, so dV over dt will be E by m, and now substitute the value of capital E, which is minus r by 2 dB by dt. So this value will become this r by 2 dB by dt, or dV will become ER by 2m into dV. Okay, so the total increase in velocity of electron when given magnetic field changes from 0 to B is determined as, okay, we'll integrate this equation within the limit V to V plus dV, and this right hand side will be integrated from 0 to B. Okay, why? Because the initial case when there was no magnetic field, at that time the velocity of electron we have considered it is V. Okay, and when we apply the magnetic field, in that case we see there is a force acting on the electron, which makes electron gets accelerated, and due to that its velocity gets changed. Suppose it is V plus delta V. So that's why these limit points we have taken. And magnetic field initially, because when there was no magnetic field, that is zero magnetic field, at that time velocity is V, and it is changing, and maximum we have considered it is B. Okay, so within this limit when we solve this, so what we will get, we'll get change in velocity. Okay, delta V will be ERB by 2m. Okay, this is the change in velocity, okay, which will be there when we put that electron rolling around the nucleus in an changing magnetic field. Okay, so this relation will give the required increase in velocity of electron in the magnetic field. Okay, and in CGS units this will be ERB by 2m into C. Okay, where C is the velocity of light. Okay, then we'll calculate the dipole moment of current loop due to the revolution of electron, okay, around the nucleus is PM will be I into A. Okay, and I is the current, which is E by T, or T is time period, and which will be equal to 2 pi r by V. So when we substitute that in this equation, and A is the area of the current loop, so this will be this value. The dipole moment, the magnetic dipole moment of electron revolving in that loop will be EVR by 2. On the application of magnetic field across the loop, what will happen? Okay, this magnetic moment which we have calculated, this is due to the independent atom when there was no magnetic field. Okay, but now we know when we put that atom under the influence of the magnetic field, so that time what will happen, the velocity will get changed. Okay, so due to that, if velocity gets changed, then correspondingly dipole moment will also get changed. Okay, so due to that, on the application of magnetic field across the loop, there is a change in the dipole moment of the electron, and that change will be this value. Delta PM will be minus ER delta V by 2. Okay, we just replace V by delta V and PM by delta PM. Okay, and now substitute the value of this delta V which we have calculated above, which is ERB by 2m. So delta PM will become minus E square R square B by 4m. The negative sign indicated that the PM is always opposite to the direction of applied magnetic field. Okay, the change in dipole moment will always be in the direction opposite to the magnetic field. Thus a specimen is repelled by the external field B. As the value of delta PM is small, therefore the specimen is feebly repelled by the magnetic field. Okay, now it is clear that when an atom is subjected to an external magnetic field, a dipole moment is induced in the atom. Okay, dipole moment will be induced. In any material, there are large number of electrons whose orbit of rotations are oriented randomly, and the resultant dipole magnetic moment due to these orbiting electrons cancel out, and there is no net magnetism found. Okay, the motion of all the electrons inside the atom of a diamagnetic material can be taken to be equivalent to motion of just two electrons moving in a circular orbit with the same angular velocity omega, but in the opposite direction as shown in figure. Okay, so all the atoms having two electrons in their outer orbit will be considered as diamagnetic material, and for them the electron motion will be like this. Okay, one is clockwise and other is anti-clockwise. In the absence of external magnetic field, the magnetic dipole moment Pm due to the above two orbiting electrons are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. Therefore, cancel out each other and the atom has zero magnetic moment. Net magnetic moment will be zero for an diamagnetic material. Okay. However, when an external magnetic field B is applied to such an atom, the orbiting electron experiences a radial force, okay, which will be minus E V cross B at right angle to the direction of its motion. Okay, since V is the radius of the since the radius of the orbit remains unchanged, okay, the force changes the velocity of the electron from V to V minus dV in figure A and from V to V plus dV in figure B. Okay, in one case it will increase the velocity and other case it will decrease the velocity. The change in magnitude of linear velocity results in the change in the magnitude of angular velocity. Hence, the effect of external magnetic field is to increase or decrease the angular velocity. Depending on whether FB act radially inwards would increase the value of the current through the loop and therefore an increased dipole moment. Okay. Similarly, the decreased value of angular velocity would mean a reduced dipole magnetic moment. Thus, when an external magnetic field is applied to a diamagnetic atom, the two electrons orbiting in the opposite direction have different values of dipole magnetic moments, and there is a resultant dipole magnetic moment that will be Pm plus delta Pm minus delta Pm, which will be twice of delta Pm in the direction opposite to that of the applied magnetic field. Okay. Since there are large number of atoms in any given diamagnetic material, so dipole magnetic moments due to all these atoms add up and a net magnetization in a direction opposite to the applied field is obtained. Okay, and this accounts for the diamagnetism of the material. Since the orbital motion of electron is there in the atoms of all materials, so all materials have a diamagnetic component. Okay, but only thing is that means due to some other reason the other component of magnetism will dominate, and due to that we call those material as para and ferromagnetic. Okay, that we will discuss later in our coming article. So, but the thing is that the diamagnetic component, which is due to the orbital motion of electron, is present in each and every atom. Okay, so further we have assumed that let the orbit is perpendicular to the magnetic field. This is what we have considered initially. Okay, the applied magnetic field is perpendicular to the current loop. Since the orbit can have any orientation with respect to the field, the radius of the orbit in the above equation should be replaced by its projection R1 on the plane perpendicular to the field. Okay, so in that case Pm will be minus E square minus E square by 4m R1 square into B. So as there are number of radially oriented orbits within the atoms, the total magnetic moment induced is, it will be delta Pm will be minus E square 4m B summation R1 square. Okay, and suppose x, y, z are the coordinates of any point of an atom of an orbit of radius r, then r square will be x square, y square, z square. If we choose z axis along the applied field, then for the orbit in xy plane at a particular moment, r1 square will be x square plus y square. Let the mean value of all the radii of orbit be r average. Okay, so r average square will be x average square plus y average square plus z average square. And for spherical symmetric atom, this mean x square, mean y square and mean z square all are equal, and therefore they will be equal to 1 by 3 of r square. Okay, so hence for r1 square, the orbit in xy plane, r1 square will be mean of x square plus mean of y square. It will become 2 by 3 mean of r square. Now substituting this value of r1 square in above equation 1, the delta Pm will be, it will become minus E square B over 6m summation R1 square. So for a substance containing n molecules per unit volume, the total magnetic moment induced per unit volume of the substance will multiply this magnetic moment by n. Okay, so that will be that will give us the total magnetic moment per unit volume. Okay, and as we know from the definition of susceptibility, the susceptibility will be chi m is equals to magnetic moment per unit volume by h. Okay, and the diamagnetic susceptibility per atom is called atomic susceptibility. Okay, so we call it as xma. Okay, so it will be induced magnetic moment per atom, okay, which will be this delta pm, okay, by h. So xma will become minus e square b 6 mh summation r square. Okay, so it is magnetic moment per unit volume. That's why that and now have been not there in the expression. Okay, so this you should consider it as, this is magnetic moment per unit volume. Okay, per unit volume, that is per atom we have calculated. That's why that n gets eliminated here. Okay, so our expression will be this value, xma will be this value, minus 6 minus e square b over 6 mh summation r1 r square. Okay, so for any diamagnetic substance we know the linear relation, b is directly proportional to h and b is equal to mu by h. Now substitute this value in above equation. So xma, that is the magnetic diamagnetic susceptibility per atom or atomic susceptibility, will be minus mu e square by 6m summation r square. Okay, this is our final expression for the magnetic susceptibility of a diamagnetic material, and we found that this value comes to be negative. Okay, which is the case we have considered. For a diamagnetic material, the magnetic susceptibility has to be negative, so it is negative. Okay, also its value, when we calculate by knowing this mu for that diamagnetic material, E we know its charge and m is the mass. Okay, and summation r square. Okay, if we know the plane in which that orbit is there. Okay, if we calculate this, so this value is found to be small, and that's why this magnetic susceptibility of this diamagnetic material, it is negative and small, and that's why it belongs to diamagnetic material. Okay, so this is it with this article. Thank you.